Okay, we're solving quadratic equations now. Now the first method we're going to use to solve is graphing. So we're going to go over how to make a proper graph and then how to find the solutions for x in the graph. Now the first thing you have to do is set it equal to 0. Now if the problem has equal to y or equal to f of x, just put equals to 0, okay? Now, once that's out of the way, we're going to use the axis of symmetry, the formula for negative b over 2a. So we're going to use the number that's b in here. That would be a negative 1. So negative, negative 1. And a is 2 times 1. So you get 1 over 2, which is 1/2. So the number in the middle is 1/2. Now, for our calculator, let's pull out the calculator. I'm going to open up Desmos again, just so you guys can see how I'm using it. Okay, so for the Desmos calculator, I'm going to type in this function using parentheses. So x is my parentheses squared minus x minus 2. Okay, so this is how I'm going to use it. And now what I'll do is I'll plug in different numbers in here. So if I want to plug in 1/2, I could just put 0.5 and 0.5. And I get negative 2.25. So in my table, I'm going to put negative 2 and a quarter, basically. 0.25 is a quarter. Next, I need numbers next to 1/2. So the numbers next to 1/2 would be 0 and 1 and negative 1 and 2. Now remember that the points reflect. I don't need to plug them all in. I can just plug in 0. And remember what happens when you plug in 0. You're only left with one number. Yep, the C, negative 2, which means this is also negative 2. And then I want to plug in negative 1. And I get 0. I get 0. Because remember how the answers reflect over the axis of symmetry. This middle point is the axis of symmetry. So around it, the answers are the same. Now, we're going to go to the graph next. To graph these points, we'll start with the middle number. The axis of symmetry is at negative 2. And, oh, that's not, I'm sorry, I messed up, guys. I'm sorry. I meant to say a quarter, not a half. That's a quarter. Sorry about that. Okay, the middle number, the axis of symmetry, is at 1/2, which would be somewhere right here. This is 1/2. All right, now, that means that this is the middle of the parabola. Now, negative 2 and a quarter would be right here. So this is the vertex. This is my vertex right here. Now, 0, negative 2 would be right here. And 1, negative 2 would be right here. And then 2, 0 would be right here. And negative 1, 0 would be right here. So my graph would look something like this. Curves down, then curves back up. Looks like that. That's my parabola. Now, that's how you graph it. That's how you were graphing it before. The answers are right here. We are looking for the x-intercepts. We are looking for where the graph is crossing the x-axis. Okay? So we have two answers. You have two distinct answers for x. So when x is equal to negative 1 and when x is equal to 2. And that's how you find the answers on a graph, guys. You're looking for where the parabola is going to cross the x-axis. If you're looking at a table, you're looking for the number 0. You're looking for the number 0 on the y-axis, and these numbers are at 0. That's where it's crossing the axis, okay? And that's how you do it. That's how you solve it by graphing, right? Let's do a couple more. Okay, here, let's start with, again, the axis of symmetry, negative b over 2a. So in this case, it would be negative negative 2, and 2 times 1 again. So I get 2 over 2. I get 1. So the number in the middle is going to be a 1. All right. Again, you need your calculator. All right. But now your equation has different numbers. So I'm going to put a minus, empty these out. So not the numbers we're using. Okay. X squared minus 2x plus 50. Plus 50. Okay. That's my function, right? You can't use x, so I use parentheses for x. Let's plug in 1 and see what happens. I get 49. Oh no, sorry, it's not 50, it's 5. Oh, my mistake. So that equals 0 is really close. My mistake. Equals 5. So there you go. Equals 4. So that's my vertex. Now, the numbers around 1. I'm going to do those next really quickly. So remember, it has to be plug in 0. When you plug in 0, you're going to be left with one number. What number is that? The number at the end, 5. So 5 goes here and 5 goes here. All right. Next number, negative 1. Let's plug in a negative 1. Negative 1, negative 1. Okay, 8. Now, this is usually where I stop just to get an idea of what my graph looks like, and I graph these numbers. So let's turn this off. All right, let's graph these points. 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. There's your vertex. 0, 5, 2, 5. 1, 2, 3. Negative 1, 8. Okay, so my parabola is like this. Okay, so again, you're looking for your x-intercepts. Where does it cross the x-axis? And the answer is nowhere. This parabola is going up, which means it'll never cross the x-axis, which means, guys, this is a no solution. If the parabola does not cross the x-axis, there is no solution to that function, all right? And that's it for that. Moving on to the next one. All right, negative b over 2a. It's going to be a negative negative 4. And 2 times 2. Again, I'm going to get 4 over 4. That's a 1 again. Again, I get 1 in the middle. Okay? 0, negative 1, 2, 3. All right. So again, I need my calculator. Need my calculator. This time there's a 2 in front. There's a negative 4 here. And a positive 2 here. And let's start with the middle number. Let's start with a 1. What happens when I plug in 1? Oh, I get 0. Okay, what happens if I plug in 0? Remember, what's going to be left? The last number, 2. And then let's plug in a negative 1. Eight. All right, so I got my points. Here they are. Now, if I graph this one, 1, 0, 0, 2, 2, 2, negative 1, 8, 3, 8. Here's my parabola. Okay, where is it crossing the x-axis? What is my x-intercept? It's only 1 point. This one. X equals 1. And actually, I knew that when we started right here. Once we found the middle number and I knew that was 0, that was it. This one only touches it in one place in the middle. This has one solution. So I need you to understand that there is one solution sometimes when the parabola has 1 point in the middle. That 1 point in the middle is crossing it. If it's not crossing it at all, it's no solution. But if the parabola is crossing at 2 points, you have 2 solutions. So